TimeBank believes in a banking future with more for every entrepreneur. Start paying less and getting more. With TimeBank, you've got this.
Whether you are operating online or in a physical store, cash flow is essential for the success of your business. These dynamics tend to be slightly different in the e-commerce space because of its fast-moving financial flows and constantly shifting measurements. Welcome to Small Business Evolution. I am Nontobeko Kumete, and in today's episode, we talk all things cash, and we are joined by Haneli Marsh, the Managing Executive for TimeBank's SME strategy and execution, to discuss the efficient ways to manage cash flow in the e-commerce space. Hani, thank you so much for joining us. Can you just please touch on some of the things that lead to SMEs not having enough cash flow, or just an overall structured financial management?
Hi, Nonto. Thank you very much. Yes, it is such an important topic, as you mentioned, cash flow to all businesses. As we know from research, cash flow management is probably the largest reason for businesses not making it in our economy, which is really sad. It's also what makes it really important then for us to have a cash flow plan. And so having a plan is the number one most important thing. It makes it much easier to manage your business, and it also makes it much easier to weather the storms, as we've seen in the economy.
Business strategists always preach, prevention is always better than cure. So what are the steps that SMEs can take to prevent, the struggles of cash flow management?
Yes, it is, as I mentioned, really important to have a plan. So once we know that we can plan for it, then it's easy to manage it going forward. And in most businesses, there are essentially three areas that are of main concern. How do we save? How do we transact? And how do we access funding when we need it in case of an emergency or potentially business growth, which is the ideal scenario. But in order for that, we need to find some tools and structures and access to people that can help us build this plan. And then we need to be diligent in managing our cash flow to see whether we are doing better or worse than expected.
What are some of the examples of the tools that SMEs can actually implement into their business strategy to get out of that hurdle?
Yes, so I always advocate that we need to ask for help. They say it takes a village to raise a child. The same is true with small businesses. So we have access to people and mentors. There are multiple networks that we can join. There are online calculators and tools. And then there are lots of software services like accounting services that could help us manage our businesses more effectively.
Haneli, what are some of the key indicators that businesses should look at or should look out for, rather, to assess whether or not they have a good cash flow?
So, as you know, many businesses, we need to make sure that we get our receivables so that our customers pay us on time. So a lot of businesses don't like to ask for money, but we need to get paid on time. And then we also need to negotiate with suppliers for terms that we can, get access to additional working capital funding. When we start seeing that we are late on payments, that we don't have money to pay essential services such as our tax or our VAT, then those are all indicators that we need to look at what is happening in our business.
Haneli, a majority of the time you find that SMEs lack cash flow due to payment terms. So what would you suggest as an optimum payment term for SMEs operating in the e-commerce space in particular?
What we've seen is that a lot of SMEs only have 30 days worth of runway in their cash flow, which is detrimental to a business. So forward planning and having access to savings is really important. So when we have months where we have additional funds coming in, we've had a good month, especially in e-commerce, something like, a Black Friday sales or whatever, putting that into a savings account where we can save that money for when we need it is incredibly important. So to not leave it in cash, to put it in an account, for example, where you can earn interest, where your business can work for you while you're working in your business or on your business. And then also to build credibility for your business by having a business bank account that can ultimately lead to funding. So it's vitally important for small businesses to, even when they are super small, trade their business out of a business bank account.
Thank you very much, Hanley. That was the Managing Executive for TymeBank's SME Strategy and Execution, Hanley Marsh. That's it for me and the team. Until next time, goodbye.
TymeBank believes in a banking future with more for every entrepreneur. Start paying less and getting more. With TymeBank, you've got this.